The stage lights were blazing, the crowd was roaring, cameras were flashing from every angle, and in the middle of that electric storm stood two global superstars whose single glance sent the internet into chaos. Before the music even dropped, fans at home were already typing in all caps, rewinding clips, zooming into expressions, and asking the same explosive question. What really happened between Jennie and Lisa? If you think you know the story, stay with me until the end, because what you are about to discover will completely change how you see that viral moment. And if you love deep dives into K-pop drama and hidden details, subscribe to K-Drama Bliss right now, because this is only the beginning. It started with a silence. Not the kind of silence you hear, but the kind you feel. The members of BLACKPINK were standing side by side, dressed in flawless stage outfits that shimmered under the lights. The crowd was chanting their names, thousands of light sticks moving like waves in a glowing ocean. Everything looked perfect. Too perfect. Then it happened. A split-second moment that lasted barely longer than a heartbeat. Jennie turned. Lisa looked away. There was no dramatic confrontation, no raised voices, no obvious tension. But fans noticed something. A pause. A micro-expression. A shift in energy. Within minutes, the clip was circulating across social media platforms worldwide. Fans were shocked. Some insisted it was just exhaustion. Others were convinced it was deeper. Edits slowed the footage down frame by frame. Body language analysts posted breakdowns. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds. Was it rivalry? Was it misunderstanding? Or was it simply two human beings navigating pressure at the highest level of global fame? To understand the weight of that moment, you have to understand who Jennie and Lisa are. Jennie, often called the fashion icon of her generation, moves with a calm confidence that commands attention without effort. Her stage presence is sharp, controlled, and magnetic. Lisa, the unstoppable performer with explosive dance power, radiates charisma that fills arenas within seconds. Together, they are part of one of the biggest girl groups in the world. But with global success comes relentless scrutiny. Every look becomes a headline. Every interaction becomes a theory. And in a world where cameras never blink, even breathing differently can spark rumors. Behind the scenes, the pressure is unimaginable. Endless rehearsals. Back-to-back world tours. Solo projects that demand perfection. Brand deals. Interviews. Expectations from millions of fans across continents. It is easy to forget that beneath the glamour are young women carrying enormous responsibility. Sources close to the industry often speak about how exhausting idol life can be. Smiles must remain steady. Energy must stay high. Personal emotions must be carefully guarded. Now imagine standing beside your teammate while the world compares you constantly. Who sang better? Who danced harder? Who got louder cheers? Who wore it best? Competition does not always come from within. Sometimes it is projected from outside. Fans can unintentionally create narratives by choosing sides, by magnifying tiny differences, by searching for tension where there may only be fatigue. That viral moment might not have been about conflict at all. It could have been about timing, about stress, about two artists focusing intensely on their performance cues. Yet the mystery itself fueled the frenzy. The more silence there was from official channels, the louder the speculation became. Then came another clip, from a different angle. This time Jennie was laughing at something Lisa said backstage. The energy looked relaxed, comfortable, natural. Suddenly, the narrative shifted again. Some fans felt relieved. Others claimed it was damage control. The cycle continued. But here is the part most people miss. Real relationships are layered. Especially in high-pressure creative environments. Teammates can disagree. They can have different moods. They can be tired on different days. None of that automatically equals a secret war. What makes this story fascinating is not confirmed drama. It is the power of perception. The way a 2-second glance can ignite millions of conversations. The way global stardom magnifies normal human moments into international headlines. Jennie and Lisa have trained together, performed together, and grown up in the spotlight together. They have shared stages in cities most people only dream of visiting. They have stood shoulder to shoulder accepting awards. They have faced criticism and praise in equal measure. Bonds formed under that kind of intensity are rarely simple. They are complex, tested, and resilient. The so-called war may never have existed beyond the imagination of the internet. Or perhaps there were quiet disagreements like any coworker's experience. What remains undeniable is the chemistry that built their empire. The synchronized choreography, the harmonized vocals, the shared glances that once symbolized unity and still often do. Sometimes the most mind-blowing realization is this. The drama we consume says more about our hunger for spectacle than about the people involved. Fans were shocked because they care deeply, because they invest emotionally, because they want harmony within the groups they love. And that passion is powerful. It keeps artists at the top. It pushes content viral. It turns moments into history. So what really happened between Jennie and Lisa? The truth may be far less explosive than the theories. Or it may be a private chapter they choose never to share. Either way, their legacy as performers continues to grow. Their influence remains unstoppable. Before you decide what you believe, rewatch the moment with fresh eyes. Consider the pressure. Consider the humanity. And remember that not every pause hides a battle. If this deep dive opened your mind and made you question the headlines, make sure you like this video and subscribe to Drama Bliss. Drop your thoughts in the comments because your voice shapes the next story we uncover. The world may chase drama, but here we search for understanding behind the spotlight. The cameras were still flashing when the second wave of shock hit the internet. A new angle surfaced, clearer, closer, sharper. This time the focus was not just on a glance or a pause. It was on timing, on positioning, on who stepped forward first and who stayed half a step behind. Within hours, fans were building timelines like detectives solving a global mystery. Part 2 of this story begins backstage, far from the screaming crowd, but not far enough from the cameras. In the dressing room corridor, stylists moved quickly, managers whispered instructions, and the members of BLACKPINK prepared for yet another high-pressure appearance. The atmosphere was intense, not hostile, but charged. The kind of energy that fills the air before something important happens. Jennie stood in front of a mirror, adjusting an earring with steady hands. Her expression was focused, almost unreadable. Across the room, Lisa stretched lightly, rehearsing small pieces of choreography under her breath. Both were professionals. Both were in their zone. But fans who later dissected the footage noticed something subtle. When a staff member made a comment that triggered laughter among the group, Lisa reacted instantly, bright smile, full eye contact. Jennie smiled too, but hers was softer, delayed by just a fraction of a second. That tiny delay became the next viral debate. Was it tension? Was it distraction? Or was it simply two different personalities responding in two different ways? To understand why this detail exploded online, you have to understand how the narrative had already been building. For months, solo projects had placed Jennie and Lisa in separate global spotlights. Fashion weeks in Paris. Solo performances on international stages. Brand campaigns that dominated billboards from Seoul to New York. When individual success rises within a group, fans sometimes start measuring impact like a scoreboard. Whose performance trended longer? Whose outfit received more headlines? Whose fancam reached higher views? Without meaning to, the audience can create invisible pressure between artists who may not even be competing. And then came the awards night that intensified everything. The two walked the red carpet in breathtaking looks that instantly went viral. Cameras shouted their names. Reporters asked separate questions. At one point, when they stood side by side for photos, there was a brief repositioning moment. Lisa shifted slightly closer to center. Jennie adjusted her stance. It lasted seconds, yet screenshots traveled across the internet like wildfire. Fans were shocked again. Comment sections filled with theories. Some insisted it proved rivalry. Others defended them passionately, arguing that red carpet positioning is often directed by photographers. But the most mind-blowing part happened later that night during the performance. Mid-choreography, there was a moment where Jennie extended her hand toward Lisa as part of the routine. For a split second, their eyes met. Not cold, not distant, just intense. The kind of intensity performers use to elevate a stage. The crowd roared louder than before. That eye contact clip became just as viral as the earlier one. Suddenly, the narrative shifted again. Instead of conflict, fans saw electricity. Instead of distance, they saw connection. This is the duality of global fame. One angle creates tension. Another angle erases it. The truth floats somewhere in between, often invisible to those outside the circle. Industry insiders often say that group dynamics evolve over time. People grow. Personalities mature. Priorities change. What looks like distance may simply be growth. What looks like rivalry may be ambition existing side by side. Jennie has always carried an aura of composed power. She moves strategically, speaks carefully, and protects her energy. Lisa radiates vibrant spontaneity. She thrives in interaction, feeding off crowd reactions with unstoppable force. When those two energies meet, sparks are natural. But sparks are not always conflict. Sometimes they're the reason the stage feels alive. There was also the rehearsal rumor. A leaked comment claimed there had been creative differences during choreography adjustments. No confirmation ever came from official sources, yet the rumor spread quickly. Creative differences in artistic environments are common. They are part of refining perfection. Yet online, the word difference transformed into dispute. Behind closed doors, creative discussions can be intense. Voices may rise. Opinions may clash. But that is often how excellence is built. If anything, it proves both artists care deeply about their craft. Weeks after the initial shock, a candid behind-the-scenes video surfaced. In it, Lisa playfully nudged Jennie after a successful take. Jennie laughed, genuine and relaxed, leaning slightly toward her. It was not staged glamour. It was natural comfort. That clip did not trend as explosively as the dramatic ones, but for observant fans, it spoke volumes. The reality is this. Two powerful women standing at the top of global music will always be analyzed. Every expression magnified. Every silence interpreted. But longevity in an industry this demanding requires mutual respect. And respect cannot be faked for years under relentless spotlight. So what really happened? Perhaps nothing dramatic. Perhaps a moment of exhaustion amplified by high-definition cameras and high-speed internet. Or perhaps brief disagreements that strengthened their professional bond rather than destroyed it. The deeper lesson is about perception. How quickly narratives form, how easily they spread, and how rarely we pause to question them. If you have stayed with this story until now, you are not just chasing drama. You are searching for truth beneath the spectacle. And that is what Drama Bliss is all about. In Part 3, we will break down the psychological impact of fame on group dynamics and reveal expert insights that might completely transform how you see this viral saga. If you thought Part 2 was intense, the next chapter will go even deeper. Stay tuned, subscribe, and let your voice be heard in the comments because this conversation is far from over.